Hi everyone, welcome to our Tuesday TNT, and up front I'd like to thank our sponsor 5 Star Marine. If you'd like to go on a private premium tour off the island of Phuket, I've put a link in the description of this video. While you're down there you might like to subscribe to the channel. And I thought today I'd start by just giving a very broad chat about what's happening with the election coverage. Now we've got the Thai-speaking, Thai language media, and we've got the English language media. There's some other French, Scandinavian, all sorts of other countries do their own media, but principally, of course, we're interested in the Thai language media. And I've always said in an editorial capacity that the interests of the people reading English language media in Thailand are quite different. I mean, they're interested in things like visas, foreigners behaving badly, things that are about tourism, because they're mostly expats and or tourists or people who are interested in Thailand. Of course, the Thai language media is a quite different paradigm. They're interested in different things, cost of living, and things like the elections. So it's quite interesting to me that the English-speaking media is focusing so much on the Thai election, which of course English-speaking people have absolutely no bearing on, and we can look at it from afar, but we've got no bearing on the outcome. Of course, there are important milestones, and I try and bring those to you, but on a day-to-day basis, I've been a little bit surprised by the amount of coverage. Let's go to the Bangkok Post, for example, and on their front page, they've got the Palang Pracharat Party aims to retain Bangkok House, potential PM heir. And you scroll down a bit further, and there's another one about the Palang Pracharat aiming to retain Bangkok House seats, and police nationwide ordered to gear up for the campaign clashes. We go to Thai PBS World, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just at the top there, stories about the election, and you scroll down a bit further, and there's another 1, 2, 3 stories. Now we go to The Nation, Thailand. And up the very top, they're proudly crowing about their election coverage. And then you scroll down a bit further, 1, 2 stories immediately at the top of the page. A bit further down, we've got Patongtan leading the Per-Thai MP hopefuls into Bangkok battle, move forward confident for a big win in Bangkok. And the Palang Pracharat Bangkok ambitions limited to just 12 seats. So, there's more. Prayut leads MP registration as countdown, blah, blah, blah. So on it goes. So I've been so surprised by this almost gynecological coverage of the Thai election, and here we are, what, a good month or 5 weeks away, by the English-speaking Thai media. Interested to know what you think. I mean, obviously some of you are more interested in Thai politics than others. I try and keep to just the main stories, the sort of the general polls, maybe do at most 1 story a day. But what do you think about this, almost exorbitant amount of coverage about the Thai election in English-speaking media? Let's go on to our next story today, and Thai PBS World reports Interpol red notice sought for arrest of suspects in a Chinese student's murder. This is the follow-up to the grisly story yesterday about the young Chinese student that was tracked down by 3 Chinese men, kidnapped, and then murdered after the ransom wasn't paid. And the Thai Interpol branch will seek the issuance of a red notice, asking law enforcement agencies worldwide to locate and arrest 3 Chinese men wanted in Thailand for allegedly abducting and murdering a Chinese student. And Surachat Hakpan, who's the deputy police chief, will be approaching the Chinese embassy for help in finding the suspects. And the suspects, who have been identified by Thai police, fled to Chengdu after they allegedly murdered their hostage, 22-year-old Jin Kan, after her father in China refused to pay them the 500,000 yuan, that's 2.5 million baht, in ransom. And more coverage from Thai PBS World saying that Thai police believe the murdered Chinese student knew one of her abductors, and the Thai police already know who they are, and they've already published some photos of them. Thai police believe that the Chinese student who was kidnapped and murdered in Nonthaburi province last week knew one of her 3 abductors. According to investigators, one of the suspects had been courting the student via social media while she studied music at Bangkok Thonburi University after they found out that her father was a wealthy teacher in China. After the first 2 years of studying online, she flew to Thailand for her third year of study on March the 8th. When the suspects discovered she'd arrived in Bangkok, they flew from Beijing. Then on March the 28th, the suspect who'd been courting Jin Kan asked her to meet him at Central Westgate. According to police, Jin Kan then took a taxi from her university to the mall and crossed the road where one of the suspects was waiting in a rented red Mazda. So that's the latest from Thai PBS World in the sad demise of Jin Kan. Let's hope that the Deputy Chief, Surachat Hakpan, has some success working with the Chinese embassy to bring those 3 men to justice. And as I mentioned before, big thanks to 5 Star Marine. And if you'd like to go on a private tour off the island, then there is a link in the description in this video. Our Tuesday TNT, thank you for dropping in as we go to the South China Morning Post coverage about Chinese buyers snapping up properties from Singapore and Australia to Thailand. It says the data on outflows is scarce, but the signs suggest new demand to get capital out of China, where real estate confidence is fragile, and agents say that Chinese interest is ticking up in Thailand and helping to boost prices in Singapore, while Chinese students are bagging flats in Australia. That means buying, I think. And quoting Ian Chen, the founder and chief executive of Jalin Realty, he says most of the investors who are buying now are those who just need to get some money out. We're not seeing a big wave, but definitely there's interest and a lot of inquiries, especially from students who are coming back to Australia. And the article goes on to say that rich and middle-class Chinese have long sought to move some wealth abroad to diversify their investments, keep some assets beyond the reach of authorities. And down the bottom there, Chinese families are looking to relocate assets and even themselves overseas. So definitely looking at a rise in Chinese interest in buying up real estate here in Thailand. We've covered that before on TNT, which is, at the end of the day, good for the Thai economy. Let's talk about that. Thailand Business News. This is Thailand-business-news.com. Kasikorn Research keeps the Thai growth forecast at 3.7% for this year. A stronger than expected recovery in tourism may help offset slowing growth in other segments. And Thailand will welcome 28.5 million tourists this year, up from the previous estimate of 25.5, remembering that the high bar was set back in 2019 when there was 39.8 million tourists coming to Thailand. The article goes on, but a slowdown in the US economy may affect Thailand through trade channels. But Kasikorn Bank expects the baht to remain highly volatile in the second quarter of this year, and the US Fed's less aggressive policy rate hikes may cause the baht to strengthen due to the robust balance sheet diversification of Thai commercial banks. The recent issues faced by several Western banks have had little effect in Thailand. Additionally, Thai commercial banks are closely regulated by the Bank of Thailand and the Ministry of Finance. That there a prediction from the Kasikorn Bank. We go now to a rather strange source. This is from BaptistPress.com, and it's covering these Chinese refugees who have had a bit of a hard time trying to flee China and find a new home due to their religious conviction. And the story says that China's Mayflower Church in Thailand not deported, but fined and detained. And authorities in Thailand fined but did not immediately deport members of a persecuted Chinese church. Members of the Shenzhen Holy Reformed Church, nicknamed the Mayflower Church for their commitment to religious freedom, were arrested on March the 30th, and they faced deport hearings the next day. Fleeing persecution and harassment in their native country, the Chinese Christians first sought refuge in South Korea. That didn't work. Mayflower Church members have been seeking refugee status from the UN, and each has been assigned refugee seeker identification. As of last month, only 2 of the 16 families in the church had been granted a second refugee determination interview with the UN. And about 4 dozen children and women from the church, including one pregnant woman who's due to give birth in 2 weeks, are being held in one location. The men from the Mayflower Church, around 16 or 17, are being held in a single cell with more than 30 other detained individuals in Bangkok at a detention centre. So that's the latest there in the refugee status for those Chinese Christians. Going to be a very prickly one for the Thai government to try and wade through. Obviously, they're going to have to put on their very best diplomatic hats and try and come up with a good decision. South Korea's already wiped their hands, saying we don't want anything to do with them. Now it's up to the Thai government to make the next move. You're watching TNT. Now, it was 2 weeks ago that we had those 5 underage girls rescued from Bangla Road in Patong, Phuket, which leads us into this story from the patianews.com. In Bangkok, police raid karaoke shop for human trafficking, 2 underage girls rescued, one only 14 years old. They were rescued from a karaoke shop in Bangkok following a police raid. The victims were confined at the venue and forced into prostitution, according to police. They raided a karaoke venue located in Soi Song Prapar 12 in Bangkok's Don Mueang district, and the venue was involved in human trafficking of female children. During a search, police rescued 2 underage girls, a 17-year-old and a 14-year-old, and they arrested the 42-year-old owner of the shop. The victims were confined at the venue. If they needed to go out and buy something from a convenience store, somebody would accompany them. Mrs. Narumon faces several human trafficking charges. Police also disclosed that she had a previous record of being arrested for similar charges. Police obviously on a bit of a rampage to try and get rid of any of these underage sex workers that, the kids should be going to school and not involved in this trade. We head now to Chumpon. 37 people injured after a bus to Phuket crashes in Chumpon. This covered by the PhuketExpress.com. 37 people sustained injuries after a passenger bus from Nong Khai heading to Phuket crashed in the Sawi district. Now, Nong Khai, to be clear, is right up the very north of northeastern Thailand on the Laos border. Now, heading to Phuket, that's a good 24 hours of driving, I would have thought. And the rescue teams found an overturned 2-level bus crashed into a power pole. There were 37 passengers, including a 1-year-old and a 5-month-old baby. 20 of the bus passengers, including one driver, who was 56, were taken to local hospitals with moderate to serious injuries. 17 of the passengers who had sustained minor injuries refused to go to hospital. And the second driver said whilst the driver Chanai was driving, he heard an odd sound, almost like a bird tweeting, before the bus overturned. Well, with Songkran coming up next week, sadly, I think we might hear a bit more about bus crashes. They're all too frequent here in Thailand. Of course, Songkran, when a lot of people head back to their hometowns for New Year celebrations, a lot of them will be travelling by bus. To this story from coconuts.co, the Bangkok edition, Thong Lot cops surprised to find corpse in overhead cables, just a drunk guy with climbing skills. Thong Lot police and utility workers initially believed they were retrieving an electrocuted corpse from a tangle of cables yesterday, but after summoning a crane to fetch his body, they discovered the man was quite alive, just drunk and incomprehensible. The man had travelled from Isan to Klong Toi to cash in his second prize winnings from Saturday's lottery. He'd won 4,000 baht, but after cashing in, he decided to celebrate. After having 1 or 7 too many, says the article, he succumbed to the singular impulse of some Thai men in a deranged state find the nearest thing to climb. And he managed to ascend a tree in the middle of the night, from which he climbed into the nest of cables and passed out. Police say he was still drunk when brought down on Sunday, but otherwise in good shape. And there he is, nestled there in the cables. How he got there is a surprise and a wonder of nature. Just levitated his way up there. So probably not much left of the 4,000 baht winnings after he's paid for his bus fare up and back to Mahasarakam. But let's hope he's okay and enters in the next lottery, and good luck to him. And thank you for watching today on TNT. If you get a moment before you leave, please subscribe to the channel, click that like button, and I think we'll do it all again tomorrow.